Hi, I'm Dom Hyde, and fuck, I'm nearly 50. Actually, I'm 47 and a half, but who's counting? Let's be real, this stage of life comes with a lot. From body changes that feel like betrayal to silence surrounding what's actually going on inside us. It's no wonder so many women feel like they're unraveling and doing it alone. But what if we didn't just survive perimenopause? What if we embraced it out loud with humour, honesty, and a whole lot of power? Enter today's guest, Shelly Horton. She's a journalist, media entrepreneur, unapologetic voice of women in midlife, and now your Peri Godmother. With her new book, I'm Your Peri Godmother, it is a rally cry for women to stop whispering about hormonal chaos happening in their bodies and start owning the conversation. With brutal honesty and laugh out loud moments, Shelly gives us permission to ditch the shame, arm ourselves with knowledge and demand better. Better healthcare, better information and better conversations. Because midlife isn't the beginning of the end. It's the start of something real, raw, rebellious. And let's be honest, fuck, I'm nearly 50, but isn't it amazing? Shelly Horton has built a career on saying the things other people are afraid to say. From morning television to running her own media training company, Shell Shocked Media. She's always made her voice loud and unapologetically hers. But it's her new role that might just be her most important one yet, Peri Godmother. In her new book, I'm Your Peri Godmother, which has just hit the shelves, Shelly rips the cloak of invisibility of perimenopause and midlife. She shares the gut-punching realities from wild mood swings to brain fog and making you realise why you sometimes forget why you walked into a room, with humour, heart and helpful solutions. This episode is for anyone who's ever felt dismissed by a doctor, doubted their own sanity, or just needed someone to say, you're not alone and you're not crazy. We talk about the symptoms no one warned you about, the power of self-advocacy, the myths of the hot mess, and why midlife women are the most underestimated powerhouse demographic out there. Woo! Because this isn't just a hormonal shift, it's a cultural one. Let's get into it. Shelly, welcome to Fuck I'm Nearly 50.
That was the best intro ever, Dom. I'm so excited to chat to you.
Amazing. How would you introduce yourself if you weren't trying to be polite?
Hello, I'm your Peri Godmother. My name's Shelly, and if you're over 40, you fucking need me.
Do you know what? I've been reading your book and it's been really interesting because you think you know most of it, but there's so much in there that you just have absolutely gone, oh, okay, I didn't really know any of that stuff.
But forewarned, forearmed. You know, this is about educating ourselves so we can be the best we can be.
I think it's so true. And so much of what you said, or you say in the book is without the knowledge, you're just going blind. And what we were like when we were younger. Okay, what's the most absurd, hilarious, or completely maddening thing that's happened to you because of perimenopause, and how did you handle it?
All right, so this is a hot flush moment, but I do my regular spots on Channel 9 where I debate the news of the day with journalists, and you know, I've been doing it. I've been on Channel 9 for nearly a decade, so you know, I don't get stressed or nervous about it. I'm normally on with Ben Fordham or John Mangos or someone like that. And then one day they said, oh, by the way, today you're going to be debating Liz Hayes. And I'm like, and I love Liz Hayes, like 60 Minutes Idol. And it brought on the biggest hot flush, so much that my makeup was actually dripping off my face. And Liz is so freaking cool. So she doesn't walk, she glides. And so as she was gliding through the studio and I'm like fanning myself, just like trying to cool down, I just had to own it. And I'm just like, oh, Liz, I'm so sorry. I'm having a hot flush. And she was so amazing. She just leant in and put her very cold hand on my hot wrist and just went, oh, sweetheart, I've been there, done that. Trust me, it gets better. And I was like, thank you. And I appreciated her compassion. And then she went, have you had the rage yet? And I was like, what? No, what? And she's like, oh, I had the Menno rage. She said, let me tell you, one time I was at a petrol station. I just filled up and I sat back in my car and I was organizing my receipt and plugging my phone in. And this guy in a sports car pulled up. She said, I got out of my car. I walked over there and I ripped him a new one. And then I walked back to my car, sat in there and went, well, that just happened. And I was just like, oh my God, I've never wanted CCTV video more in my life than to see Liz Hayes ripping some, banker a new asshole. So
That is
in those moments of like absolute craziness, to have someone give you that kind of share that information is like this true sisterhood
yeah.
moment.
And it does make it feel a little bit more normal, which is a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
You've described perimenopause as feeling like your body turns against you. Can you take us into that experience emotionally? What part of yourself did you feel like you were losing?
So, as you will know from the book, and I have been quite open about it, I am like 1 in 3 women in perimenopause in that I got perimenopausal depression. Now, I had never had mental health issues before in my life. And so for me, I felt like I was losing my mind and having to cope with extreme anxiety, heart palpitations, and this suffocating depression. I felt like I wasn't me. It just felt like someone else had taken over my body. And I am so busy and I love my job and I love what I do. And the depression took over so badly that I wanted to quit my job. And when I came home in tears, I was crying nearly every day. Came home in tears to my husband and I said to him, I'm not coping. I think I need to quit my job. And that's when he said it was the biggest red flag. He had been tiptoeing around me for months, but he sat me down and he just said, I don't think there's anything wrong with you, but I think there might be something wrong with the chemicals in your brain.
Yeah, it's
Let's go and see someone together.
so amazing. So
How
amazing.
incredible is that?
Yeah.
So without him, I don't know what would have happened to me. And I really, really suggest that if you can, and if you have a partner, get your partner to come with you to the first couple of health appointments, because even if it's your sister or your best friend, just so you've got someone there, because your brain's not working very well. If you've got depression, if you've got all of this going on, it's really hard to look at yourself from the outside in. And sometimes you need someone else there advocating for you.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that one of the things that I've just discovered, even just with my own health journey, is you have to advocate for yourself. You have to advocate, because otherwise no one else is going to. So that's amazing.
And GPs are a bit shit.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually not slagging GPs. That's not even really their fault. So
No.
if you're looking at GPs in Australia, if your doctor is Gen X or older, they will have gone through medical school with zero training on menopause and perimenopause.
Yeah.
Zero, which is offensive when you consider it is half the population, and 100% of women, if they live long enough, will go through it.
Yeah.
Like, not every woman has a baby,
No.
but they learn all about that.
Yeah.
But every single woman will go through perimenopause and menopause, and it was not taught at all. So this is something that I have been advocating in Parliament about and getting up on my soapbox saying that this has to be changed. And I'm very proud to say that the government has listened and they are going to now make it mandatory for GPs to study perimenopause. But I also think that's a great start. We don't just need GPs doing it. We need our psychiatrists. We need everyone who looks after women to be aware of this stage of life and the impact the hormones can have.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm just so lucky that I've got an amazing GP who I think she's probably not Gen X. So that's why she is so amazing and is very aware of everything. But it is If they don't know, they don't know.
Yeah. And the other great thing is when you do find someone, you hold on to them.
Oh,
To me, it's like,
absolutely.
when you find a good hairdresser, you're like,
Yeah.
I am never leaving you. That's what I'm like with my GP now. I love her, but she also is very informed and very open to like information from my psychiatrist
Mm.
and my physio, and
Yeah.
all of them are working together. So you have a team
Yeah.
looking after you.
I agree.
But you're the one leading the team.
Yeah.
It's no longer that doctors are gods.
No.
It's you do your own research and information and make sure that you're on the same page.
Yeah, and you do have to own it as long as you've got that
Mm.
great team around you. What narratives around beauty, age, or success did you find yourself questioning or even unlearning during this phase?
I don't think I've ever had a problem with getting older, but I think now the thing that I really fought against was that your weight is your worth. That
Yeah.
the way you look is
Mm.
really important. And I think now I am like, I am way more important than my waistline. Like,
Mm.
please.
Yeah.
So my brain is what is, the impressive thing about me. So I think that ageism and concerned about the way I look has definitely just been kicked aside. And it makes me feel really sad when women my age and older say that they feel invisible.
Yeah.
And so I've got a whole section in the book where I'm like, let's fucking refuse to be invisible. Let's be loud.
Yeah.
This is your time to be
Yep.
outrageous. So don't fade away. Don't feel like you can't take up space. Take up more
Yeah.
space.
Well, and it is. I was reading something this morning that said, when at your funeral, no one's going to remember your six pack
Yeah.
or what you
looked
look
good in a
like.
bikini.
Yeah, if you look good in a bikini, it's like no. They're going to remember how you made them feel and how much fun they had with you. And you go, that is actually so true. Rather than we
Yeah.
all get caught up in what we look like.
So true.
How do we reclaim ownership over our identity when society is telling us to shrink, settle, or fade out?
I think this is where you lean into the menopausal zest and you actually tap into, I have been taking care of everyone else
Yeah.
for most of my life. What do I really want to do? And that's where you'll actually find so many women start a side hustle or
Yeah.
decide that they want to go on cruises. You know what? There was a study that showed that menopausal women were more likely to go on trips with their girlfriends than with their family. I
Mhm.
love that
Yep, I
because
love
they're
that
like,
too.
no, I need some me time.
Yes. Which, yeah, but it is like, even with doing this, like, I'm like, yep, I'm just going to do it because it's, I'm nearly
It's the
50,
best.
become a beginner, just learn, stuff it up, but whatever. It's great.
It's like chew, bite off more than you can chew and chew like fuck.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What are some red flags that a
Mm.
healthcare provider doesn't take women in midlife seriously? And what's your advice for calling it out?
So as you can imagine, my DMs blow up with women who have just been so gaslit by doctors and told that they're just stressed or they just need to lose a bit of weight or it's just a natural part of aging. And that drives me crazy. So if you have a doctor say that to you, that is a massive red flag. And I don't even think they deserve a second opportunity.
No.
Fire them, find another doctor. Find someone who has a specialty in perimenopause and menopause and go to someone who's going to actually care about you rather than, prescribe an antidepressant and send you on your way. So I think it's really important to take charge in that case. And I just won't put doctors up on a pedestal the way that they expect to be.
Yeah. And I think it has changed. It definitely has
Mm.
changed. Like, if you think, even I talked to my nan and she's like, oh no, we've got to trust everything that they tell us. And it's like, no. How do you feel? Like, how do you feel? And if it's not in here and something's wrong, you need to own it.
Yeah, and I absolutely love it because in my book, Dr. Kelly Casperson, who's a urologist in America, please follow her. She is hilarious. But she said when someone says, okay, menopause is just a natural part of aging, she's like, okay, then every single person take their eyeglasses off because that's just a natural part of aging. but we do something to fix it.
Yeah.
We make our life easier. We don't go around squinting. So I kind of loved that analogy because I'm like, yeah, let's get the support we need to be the best we can be and feel well.
Yeah. I think, and that it is so true. Like, why cope?
Why suffer?
Yeah,
I'm
why
just so tired of women having to suffer.
Yeah. If a woman is listening and is feeling like she's not coping but getting no real answers, what's the first most empowering step she can take?
Is educate yourself. Like, honestly, once you learn more about what's going on with your body, the more you can then understand it, track your symptoms. So for me, recording, my periods were all over the shop. So recording when you have your periods, recording your moods, things like that, because that then is like putting together a case and you can, instead of saying, so doc, here's the information. It's like, and I rest my case, Your Honor. Let's sort this out.
And I think that, but we track everything anyway, like
Yes,
with the Aura Ring or
brilliant.
with your Apple Watch. Like, I mean, it's all there.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually a great one. You've never been afraid to use your voice. How did perimenopause amplifies your mission and your message and your refusal to stay quiet?
Yeah, so I really felt sideswiped by perimenopause because my mother had never discussed it with me.
Yeah.
I moved away from my hometown for my career. So therefore I didn't have a friendship group that was the same age going through the same, hormonal issues. And I wasn't even working in a workplace full time. So therefore I just didn't have that information passed down through the sisterhood. And so I felt like I'm a pretty educated person. I work in the media. Have been a health reporter for years. And if I didn't know about it, if I was struggling, then there would be a lot of other women struggling out there. So once I started to get well again after I went on to HRT, I then, instead of just feeling grateful that I didn't feel, terrible anymore, I got mad. And it wasn't men rage. Maybe it was men rage, but I'm like, no, I'm going to do something about this. So that's when I campaigned in Parliament. So I was part of the first ever parliamentary roundtable on menopause in 2023. Can you believe 2023 was the first time that the word menopause was ever said in Australian Parliament? So that's how we have come a long way very quickly. But that's where I know, because I have a history of speaking out about taboo topics, I don't get embarrassed about that. I stood in Parliament and spoke about heavy bleeding and stuff like that. So
one of the men.
I'm going to be the one who's going to talk about it. And I'm okay with that because I know there's a lot of other women out there who wouldn't have that voice or wouldn't be able to get that platform. So I'm happy to step up and be loud and proud.
Yeah. And I think that is, it's what we need. More people need to be talking up about it. Your book.
Yeah.
This side here, yes. It's part guide, part confessional, part revolution. What chapter was the most cathartic or terrifying to write?
So it's the depression chapter.
Yeah.
And I'm still processing a little bit the amount of shame I felt because I am a mental health advocate. I have never judged someone for having poor mental health. But then when it happened to me, I judged myself.
Yeah.
I judged myself so badly. And I pushed through without getting help for way too long. So I got to the point where my symptoms were horrific and I was at the point of self-harm. So when I was writing that chapter, I just told you about keeping a symptom diary. The brain is such an incredible thing. But I honestly, in my head went, oh yeah, I got depressed, didn't see anyone for 9 months, got onto HRT and an antidepressant, and then I was fine. But then I looked at my symptom diary and went, oh no, it took me nearly 3 years to get over my depression. And my brain had erased it. And so writing it was really tough because I kind of had to go back into those dark crevices.
Mm.
And also, yeah, even writing about my mum, I didn't ever want to upset my mum. And the way I phrase it is I was mad at my mum, but now I'm mad for her because
Yeah.
she was treated so badly. So yeah, the depression chapter is heavy.
Mm.
And I do say in the book, like, if you're feeling a bit wobbly, just skip this until you're feeling stronger. Like, seriously. But if you're brave, hold my hand, I'll take you through it. But I just yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, I can imagine it would be. And you know what? It is also one of the hardest things is admitting it. Like it is,
Yeah.
and saying
Well, not
it
even admitting
out
it, just even
loud. Yeah.
recognizing it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Because I had never had poor mental health before, I didn't have the tools in my toolbox to recognize symptoms, to know that I had to take action,
Yeah.
to, all of that.
Yeah.
And I have to be really honest and say you have to do the work.
Yeah. Oh,
So it's not just you can take a pill and you feel better. I was having regular appointments with a psychiatrist. I picked up my exercise. I improved my eating. I value my sleep. So
yeah.
there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, there is. And that's the thing. Everyone keeps saying, like everyone that I talk to, it's all about doing the work on yourself and making sure that you as a person or the asset are actually okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because otherwise everything else goes to shit. What do you hope women feel as they turn the final page of the book?
I hope they feel informed and hopeful
Mm.
because, yeah, it can be a rollicking ride and it can be pretty horrific for quite a few women, but you do get through it.
Yeah. Yep.
And then on the other side, it's like coming out of a dark tunnel and it's like, oh, I'm here again. So I hope that they feel educated and entertained
Yeah.
because
It's an
I
easy
think,
read, which is good.
yeah, I think that you really need I worked hard on breaking down the science to get all of the jargon out of it and things like calling estrogen the Beyonce because it gives you the energy and
Yeah.
progesterone is the Snoop Dogg because it makes you chill. Like all of that, I'm like, that'll stick in people's brains more than just learning the terms. I think so. Yeah, I'm hoping that they will understand their bodies a bit better.
Yeah. And I do think that they will. If you could build every woman in midlife a Peri survival kit, what
Mm.
3 things would you absolutely have inside it?
Well, I'm going to be very black and white on this. It's HRT, vaginal estrogen, and testosterone. That's it. Like get your hormones back in your freaking body.
Yep.
That's what you need.
Okay, good.
So, I'm like, this is actually what you need. And I think that we need to take that fear away of HRT. It has been disproven that it causes breast cancer. It's incredibly safe for the majority of women. So for me, I just don't want women soldiering through. So if a Peri survival guide will be, here's your HRT in all forms.
Yeah. Yep. And I think it's a good one. And it's great that there is now more research saying that it is safe to use. How can we make micro rebellions a daily habit? And whether it's setting boundaries, ditching shame, or just wearing a bikini.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's just using terms like perimenopause and menopause in everyday conversation.
Yeah.
If you have a hot flush when you're in the line for your coffee, tell the barista.
Yeah.
I just think the more it becomes everyday language,
Yeah.
the less shame and stigma there is. It is a micro rebellion. And there's something, I think perimenopausal women have that bit of micro rebellion in them.
Like there's
So
no
just bring it up. I am sure my poor family is so sick of me talking about my vagina, but I will keep talking about it.
Your mum's on her cruise going, I don't want to think
Mum and my
about your
brother is just like,
vagina."
oh, Jesus, we're just trying to have fish tacos. Don't make the connection.
If there was a national curriculum for women in midlife, what 3 truths would you make mandatory learning?
Well, the first one would be HRT is safe for the majority of women. Every single menopause society in the world says the benefits outweigh the risks for most women. The second thing will be you're not alone. So own it and don't hide it. I think you feel alone when you're not sharing about it. And then I think 1, 2, 3. Third one, I would say it gets better.
Yeah.
This too shall pass.
Yeah, this too shall pass. Oh my God, that's one of my favorite meditations, a 4-minute meditation. Just, amazing. Why do you think sex, libido, and body autonomy are still taboo topics when it comes to menopause and midlife?
It's so funny because when I was single and younger, I would be bragging about how good I was in the sack, like no problem. And then getting married, it's like, oh no, now that's private. I'm like, why? Like it is, I think there's a bit of a disconnect there. So for me, I think you do need to talk about your sex life, particularly going through peri, because dry vagina is one of the main symptoms and it's so incredibly treatable. So I am, again, so like, I put my hand up for the amount of times I've shamed myself, but when I originally was put on HRT, the doctor offered me vaginal estrogen, and I'm just like, yeah, nah, I'm not interested. Like, I don't care about sex. I don't, and it's just one more thing to do on the to-do list. Nah, not interested. And so I didn't use it for a couple of years. And then it got to the point where my vajayjay was so dry that sometimes I would split and bleed during sex.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, it took that for me to go, oh, maybe I need to get on, the vaginal estrogen. And the thing is about vaginal estrogen, even if you have breast cancer at this moment, you can have vaginal estrogen because it does not go into your bloodstream. It's like skincare for your vagina.
Yeah.
And it's not just about sex. It's also because, I don't want you to be looking after your vagina so that you can keep someone else happy.
Yeah.
No, this is about
you-
keeping you happy as well. And the other benefit, as well as, it's softening the tissues and making you feel more lubricated, it also helps stop UTIs.
Yeah, right.
I had my first UTI when I was 19. Let me tell you, that was from a shitload of sex. I had my second UTI at 51. And that was not because of a lot of sex. That was because of a dry vagina. So I'm really passionate about talking about this because, again, it feels like, okay, we're allowed to talk about perimenopause, but don't talk about sex in perimenopause.
Yeah.
It's like, no, let's own it. And then the other thing, which often I get women saying, well, that's convinced me, is when you're on the vaginal estrogen, you're not getting up to pee during the night because it helps with your bladder.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Just if you love your sleep, get on the
So-
vaginal estrogen.
Okay. That is a good thing to know. What advice to women who feel disconnected from their bodies or ashamed of the changes can you tell them that they are totally normal?
It's like everyone's different and it's normal for whatever you're feeling is normal. I think the good thing is if you can break through the shame and actually talk about how you're feeling, and it might be that you're feeling a little bit awkward because you've put some weight around the middle and you feel funny in bed with your partner, talk to your partner about it.
Yeah.
So, make sure you are comfortable and once you get the discussion rolling with your partner, it just stops it from being this big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Like the last thing you want is to be avoiding sex because you're not feeling good about your body. You've got a dry vagina, all of these things. Like there are so many barriers. If you actually go, hey, hun, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's tackle it together. You can be a team.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, again, Kelly Casperson, I love her so much. Fangirled like crazy when I met her. But she just said her biggest advice after vaginal estrogen, use lube.
Yeah.
Use a lot of lube.
Yeah.
Don't skip the lube.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. Yeah. But even just talking about that and knowing that it's not a shame to do is a good thing.
I started, when I started needing to use lube, I felt like I was a failure because I wasn't getting wet enough.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Women blame ourselves for
Oh,
everything.
yes.
Let's just stop doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. Stop doing it. Start having the conversations and just own it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can laughter and honesty really dismantle shame, or are they still things that can be hard to say out loud, even for you?
Yeah, look, of course it is. It took me a while to actually discuss sex with Darren, and I think for me, it normally comes from a bit of a crisis point. So we had sex one time and I split and bled afterwards and I cried.
Mm.
And because it hurt.
Yeah.
And he was so shocked and he's like, I never want to hurt you. You need to
Mm.
tell me about this.
Yeah.
So it was me who was holding back. So I think that is like the crisis point.
Mm.
And then the humor comes in, which is like, babe, I got to grab the lube because I've got the Sahara down there. Like that can just make it a little bit more fun and not like a serious birds and bees chat. So
Yeah. And I think it does make it easier. If you could wave your magic Peri wand and change one thing about how society treats women in midlife, what would you change first?
I would change the way that society thinks that women's value stops when they stop having babies.
Mm.
I'm sorry, but when we stop reproducing, we still have half a life ahead of us.
Yeah.
So for me, I think we need to really change that stigma in society. And I think that once we get through this hormonal roller coaster, there is like a badge of honor,
Yeah.
a badge of honor, where it is, where it's like, I've been through hell and I survived and I am a warrior now. I am a Peri warrior and not much is going to knock me around because I've been through the trenches, and I think that there'd be something great. In other older communities, women were considered wise women and they would be, treated as people you'd go to for mentoring and information. And that's kind of been lost because we don't have our extended families like we used to. So I would love that we stepped back into that wise women role.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing. Okay, I've got a rapid fire round for you. First thing that comes to your mind, no overthinking, HRT or herbal?
HRT, your body does not have an ashwagandha deficiency. It's that simple.
Yeah, good answer. Most overrated menopause trend?
Anything you can buy on Facebook and can't get from a doctor.
Good. Go-to comfort binge?
So right now, I've just finished Untamed. Have you seen that series?
Yes.
With Eric Banner in it?
Yeah.
Love a TV binge. Also, don't mind a Negroni binge either.
Are you allowed to have that? No.
Not supposed to.
Yeah.
Not
good.
supposed
No,
to.
not to.
Not great for perimenopausal women, but hey,
Whatever.
do as I say, not as I do. Okay?
Exactly. If menopause was a celebrity, who would it be?
Oh yeah. Russell Crowe.
Oh,
And here's why. Badass gladiator, beautiful mind, craziness, and then sometimes just throwing a hotel phone at a receptionist.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, okay. Russell can be the pin-up girl boy.
Everything with Russell.
Menopause. What is the one truth about perimenopausal midlife that more women need to hear and believe?
You're not alone, and there are solutions out there. It's up to you to educate yourself and find out what's right for you and make evidence-based, educated decisions, not shame-based decisions of, I don't want to speak to a doctor about this, so I'll just get some potion on on Facebook that gets delivered to my house and no one will know about it.
Mm.
Let's the best thing to get rid of shame is sunlight. So let's shine a light into this area of a woman's life and make sure that she is treated as the superstar that she is.
Yep. I like that. Okay, Shelly, this conversation has been bold, hilarious, and honest. Even just reading your book, it is a bit of a wake-up call for me. Before we wrap up, if I could try one thing before I hit 50, something that shifts how I see myself, reclaim my power, or sets me up to own the next decade or 2 decades or 3 decades.
Or 3 decades, yeah.
What would it be?
So here's the thing, Dom. I listened to your podcast and you're doing so much already. I'm actually super proud of you. So I know you're doing the weight training. I know you're doing mindfulness. I know you're doing so much. I think maybe the only thing I would say is protect your sleep. Sleep is the super elixir.
Yeah.
So for me, that is what I make sure I am very vigilant about. I have a bedtime now, like a toddler.
What time is your bedtime?
9:30.
Mm-hmm.
9:30 is my bedtime. I get up at 6:30.
Yep.
Having that routine, I know my brain likes that.
Yeah, right.
Making your room nice and dark and cold so that it's easy to get to sleep. I have a very busy brain. I'm sure you're very surprised to hear that. But I can't just lie down and go to sleep because my brain just, thinks about the conversation where I said something awkward 3 years ago and I will just spiral for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
So what I do is I pop an audiobook into my ear. I have one ear pod in and I set it on a timer for 20 minutes and then I go off to sleep. And for me, having that routine just works. And then when I get up at 6:30, I go for a walk in the sunshine and everything about the day is better.
Yeah. And particularly when you're on the Gold Coast and you can
Yeah,
go on the
baby.
beach.
It's so nice up here.
Yeah, it's not down here today. Anyway.
I've heard it's raining.
Yes,
It
thank you.
sucks to be you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. I even looked at where.
Paradise.
Yeah,
No?
okay, whatever. I grew up in Noosa. Does that help?
Oh, okay. That's fair.
All right. Shelly, thank you. Thank you for writing the book. Thank you for being the voice so many of us didn't know that we really needed, but really do. You've reminded us that power doesn't come from pretending we're fine. It comes from speaking up, shaking things up, and laughing through the hot flushes. To everyone listening, get your hands on I'm Your Peri Godmother. Order the book, or if it's back on Amazon because it's sold out.
Sold out on Amazon one day.
Yeah.
It's also on Audible and it's in bookstores.
Okay, good. All right. Share this episode with 3 women in your life and tag us when you do. We're building the midlife revolution, one honest conversation at a time. Share this with every woman you know who's quietly wondering if she's the only one going through this, because she's not. And fuck, we're nearly 50, but isn't it amazing?